ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Text 1. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Urdhvamulam Madha Shakam Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavid Adhaschordhvam Prasritastasya Shakha Guna Pravriddha Vishaya Pravala Adhascha Mulanyanu कर्मानुबंधीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तम एव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम। ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः षष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुः स्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणम् एव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यतन्तो योगिनश्चैव पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि च औषधी सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविद् एव चाहम् द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः यस्मात्क्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत। श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 1 chapter 1 texts 1 to 3 mangalacarana verses of Srila Vyasadeva. Chapter 1 questions by the sages. Text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas chartheshvabhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavamatra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayonmoolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parairishvaraha Sadyo Hridyavaruddhyatetra Kritibi Shushrushubistakshanat Nigamakalpatarorgalitam phalam Shukamukhadamritadrava samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. Next we will read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, The Atrocities of King Kamsa. So what did we read so far? What did we read yesterday?
They're still talking.
They're still talking. Kamsa, first, Kamsa, he begged forgiveness from Vasudeva and Devaki, and then Vasudeva and Devaki, Vasudeva is speaking, and Vasudeva agreed, yes, the philosophy that you have said is correct, that one who is in bodily concept, he is only out of ignorance, right? Why you're in bodily concept? Because of being covered by ignorance, then you get false ego, because of false ego, you identify with the body. When you identify with the body, then you consider this is mine and that is someone else's. And in yesterday's, we saw further on, Vasudev is saying, somebody who is in bodily concept like this and who's thinking that this is mine and this is others, such a person will be affected by shoka, harsha, bhaya, dvesha, lobha, moha, right? Yeah.
And also Kamsa used that that sequence of saying things like Devaki's had also said previously.
He used that sequence
to the way
right. So that was so what so Kamsa, that was finished. Yeah. So first Devaki, the way Devaki presented, right? You're saying Dama, Sama, and Dana, right? So first she said that you killed my children, and then she said, but this is my own fate. And then the third thing was, now please give me a charity. And what did Kamsa say? Yes, I'm such a heinous person. I'm a Rakshasa. I'm like a Rakshasa who eats his own children. And then he said, but this is all destiny. The soul is eternal. The body is temporary. You shouldn't be, lamenting for the body. We are all controlled like that. And finally, he's saying, but unless you forgive me, I don't have, any, I cannot be saved unless you forgive me. So he was begging for forgiveness. Okay. Yeah. So that is finished now. Now Vasudeva and Devaki are speaking. So we saw that Devaki and Vasudeva, whatever anger they had, that went away because of Kamsa's humility and his repentance. They forgave him because they were devotees and they thought this is all arranged by Krishna. After all, it's controlled by the Lord. We heard the Akashvani. This must be part of the Lord's plan. So they just accepted it. They had no anger towards Kamsa. What's the use of being angry with Kamsa like that? Huh? Well, yeah, afterwards. That's in future. But for now, so they said, yes, that's the power of association. He goes back and he talks to his people. We'll see that. So Kamsa is now saying that no, Kamsa finished speaking. So Devaki and Vasudeva, they forgave because they were such exalted devotees. And they said, yes, yes. Now Vasudeva is saying, whatever philosophy you've said is true. And, someone who's in bodily concept out of ignorance, when he gets this ahankara, body, false ego, he considers himself to be the body. And when he considers himself to be the body, what will he do? When he considers himself to be the body, he will think this is mine and that is someone else's. And then such a person will be affected by these six raga, dvesha, lobha, harsha, shoka, bhaya, mada, like this. Yes, don't distract from what we are doing here. I have to tell. Okay. So then that was what we read yesterday. What happens when someone is affected like this? That is also part of yesterday's verse. 27. Yeah, persons with the vision of differentiation means seeing that this is mine and this is someone else's. When they have this type of vision, then they will be imbued with the qualities of harsha, shoka, bhaya, then dvesha, lobha, moha, and mada. These six. They are influenced by the immediate cause. One more point is, when someone is affected by these things, they are not able to see the hand of the Lord behind everything that is happening. And they become angry with the immediate cause, which is causing them some difficulty. And they'll see this person is. So when what do you understand? So when you're affected, means we are still in bodily consciousness. Because when we are not in bodily consciousness, we will be able to see the ultimate cause, not the immediate cause. So like this, Vasudeva explained to Kamsa, and we also saw Srila Prabhupada's purport yesterday. What did Srila Prabhupada say? Srila Prabhupada quoted the verse, Tattenu Kampasu Samikshamanaha. So in that verse, Tattenukampa susamikshmana bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. So why Srila Prabhupada is quoting this verse? So this is the vision of someone who is not in bodily concept of life. Somebody who is not affected by these six vices, harsha, shoka, moha, lobha. Such a person, he will not be affected by the immediate cause for his suffering. Rather, he will see the ultimate cause, and therefore he will not complain against, or nor will he try to uh, deal with the immediate cause, right? Trying to, what is the, yeah, he will not become busy counteracting, right? Counteracting the immediate cause. Why? Because he has the knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate cause. So for that, Srila Prabhupada quoted this verse, Tatte Nukampa. That means this devotee, even though he's suffering, he's thinking, this is all the result of my own past activities. And in spite of suffering, he's bowing down in front of the Lord in gratitude that my Lord is so kind that he has reduced my suffering. I should have suffered much more. Someone who has this type of consciousness, that means somebody who's able to see, even in material world, in the material dealings, he's able to see the connection of those things, the connection of the people with the Supreme Lord. Then such a person is um, actually liberated, right? Such a person, his his residence in the spiritual world uh, uh, is guaranteed. Hmm? Daya bhag, like you inherit simply by taking birth, you inherit the property of your family simply by taking birth in that family. By that right, birthright, you inherit the property of that family. Like that, somebody who has this type of consciousness, his going back to Godhead is guaranteed. He inherits that position of going back to Godhead. So here the point is, who is able to see the connection of the Lord in everything? Someone who's not affected by the bodily concept of life, and bodily concept of life is ultimately coming from what? Avidya, ignorance. What is ignorance? Turning away from the absolute truth. That's the root cause. Next verse, text 28. Sri Shuka Uvacha comes. So now Sukadev Goswami is speaking. So this is the conversation that happened between Kamsa, Vasudev Devaki. Now Sukadev Goswami is the one narrating. Sukadev Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj, or actually, Sutta Goswami is telling Shaunakadi Rishis what Sukadev Goswami said further. Sri Shuka Uvacha कंस एवं प्रसन्नाभ्याम विशुद्धम प्रतिभाषितः देवकी वसुदेवाभ्याम अनुज्ञातो विशदगृहम्. Sri Shuka Uvacha Kamsa evam prasannabhyam. What is prasannabhyam? Very much pleased, happy. Vishuddham pratibhashitah. Vishuddham means very pure. Pratibhashitah. Bhashita means speaking. Pratibhashita means replying. So pratibhashitah. Devaki Vasudevabhyam, by Devaki and Vasudev. That means Kamsa became very happy by hearing the pure reply, or the reply of Vasudeva and Devaki, which was filled with purity. They had no animosity, they had no grudges against him. So Kamsa evam prasannabhyam, being very pleased, Vishuddham pratibhashitaha, with the pure reply, speech of answer of Vasudeva and Devaki, Devaki Vasudebhyam, Anugyato Vishadgriham, he took permission and went back to his own place. Vishad means entered. Sukadev Goswami continued, thus having been addressed in purity by Devaki and Vasudev, who were very much appeased. Okay, so not that Kamsa was pleased, here it is saying Kamsa is also pleased, but they were also appeased. Vishuddham prati bhashitaha. Pratibhashitaha is the, okay. Prasannabhya. So who is happy here? Kamsa evam prasannabhyam. Kamsa is pleased, but they are also pleased apparently. Thus, having been addressed in purity by Devaki and Vasudeva, who were very much appeased. Okay, yeah, this pleased is for Kamsa felt pleased. So both were pleased. And with their permission, he entered his home. So yesterday's verse also, we didn't look at Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Let me take a look at that. Okay, so the last verse that we saw in the commentary was so Kamsa believed Durga Devi's words and released Vasudeva and Devaki. And then so after he spoke, right? So then Vasudeva and Devaki's anger subsided. And after that, we saw that because of the spell of false identity, one thinks of objects as mind. In this way, one thinks in terms of duality. So, false identity means ahankara, false ego. So, that was spoken by Vasudeva, right? That vision of differentiation. This is mine and that is yours. It's coming from ahankara. Then the next one, those with external material vision cannot see that the Supreme Lord arranges that some entities and forces such as kings, tigers, and diseases are killing others such as men and cows. So, in yesterday's verse, we saw that persons with the vision of differentiation are imbued with the material qualities of lamentation, jubilation, fear, envy, isn't it? And someone who's influenced by these will consider the immediate cause and will not be able to see the supreme cause, the Supreme Lord, for his sufferings. So, in regard to that verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, those with external material vision cannot see the Supreme Lord, cannot see that the Supreme Lord arranges that some entities are killing others. You understand? Here, what is the context? The context is Kamsa killed Vasudeva and Devaki's children and is begging for forgiveness. And he explained the philosophy that the soul never takes birth and the soul never dies. And it's because of this identification with this body. One has to repeatedly take birth in this world. But somebody who realizes that the soul is eternal and the soul neither kills nor is killed, such a person is not responsible for the reactions. This was said by Kamsa. In what context is saying all this? Because he killed the babies of Vasudeva and Devaki and they should not blame him for killing. Because after all, he's a spirit soul and they're also spirit souls. This is all being done by Prakriti. I'm not responsible. Why I'm not responsible? Because now I'm self-realized. I realize, according to the Jnana Marga, one who realizes that he is that means one whose antakarana is purified. One who sees the self as the spirit soul, one who rises above the bodily concept. He doesn't see the self as the body. Then such a person is free from the reactions of the work also. Even if he works, it is as good as not doing any work because he's not identifying with the body anymore. So Kamsa is saying, because I realize that I am, because he's speaking this Jnana philosophy, right? So according to the Jnana philosophy, I'm not responsible because I'm a spirit soul. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. The soul cannot be killed. So how am I responsible for killing the other souls? It is because of their karma that they had to undergo that and I became an instrument. Like that, he said. So now Vasudeva and Devaki are also saying, especially Vasudeva is speaking now, he's saying, yes, yes, whatever you have said is correct. That someone who has this false ego, why false ego comes? Because of ignorance or avidya. Then because of this false ego, he will see this is mine and that is someone else's. And someone who has this type of vision, my people and other people, my friends and enemies, someone who has this type of vision, such a person will be affected by harsha, shoka, lobha, moha, mada, all these things. And when someone is affected by these things, then he will not be able to see the ultimate cause. He will not be able to see the ultimate cause. Rather, he will see the immediate cause. So if I cut my hand, oh, I cut my hand because of this knife, or because somebody was disturbing me and I was not able to pay attention, it is that person's fault. But someone who has this, who is not in the bodily concept, he will see, oh, this is the reaction of my past karma. That is why Srila Prabhupada quoted Tatte Nukampasu Samikshamanaha verse from Bhagavatam, that a devotee's vision is different. Even though he is suffering, he will not blame anyone else. He will not blame even the Lord. Not that the ultimate cause is the Lord, so blame the Lord. No. He says, this is all the result of my own karma. And in great gratitude, he's bowing down in front of the Lord. So that point here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying in his commentary, that someone who has material vision means what? That means you are affected by false ego. You think you are this body, and because of that, you think this is mine and that is theirs. This is material vision. Someone who has material vision will not be able to see that it is the Supreme Lord who arranged for one person to kill other people. Who are we talking about here? We are talking about the tigers killing cows and deer. So you cannot blame, oh, the tiger must be punished because it's killing the cow or it's killing the deer. Because there is a higher reason behind this. We also saw in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that in the human body, we are actually creating karma. We are doing karma in the human body. In all other bodies, whether animal bodies or demigod bodies or any other bodies, in other parts of the planet, of the universe, we are only reaping the results of our karma that we do in the human form. In all other forms, we are reaping the results of the karma that we do in the human form. So then, the karma that is done in human form prepares new bodies for us. So you cannot justify here, like Kamsa killed, that, yeah, I'm not doing anything, right? Yes, you're not doing anything, it is true. But when you did that act, you were under the bodily concept, isn't it? He was thinking that the child of Devaki is going to kill me. Why you're afraid of being killed if you are not this body? You see, that means you will incur the reaction of your karma when you're doing karma. When you're doing karma. Of course, Nishkama karma is different. Nishkama karma yoga means you do that karma, but you don't take. That's why Krishna says, Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbhur mate sangostva karmani. In this consciousness, if you do karma, then that karmic reaction will not touch you. Even though you're doing karma, you're not getting any result. You have a right to do that karma, but you're not entitled to the results. You cannot take the results. All the results must be offered to the Lord, to Lord Vishnu. Ma phaleshu kadachana. And then also, results you're giving, but still you want to take the credit that I did it. No. Don't consider yourself to be the cause of the results also. You have given up the results, but also don't take pride that it's because of me that the results have come. And at the same time, don't be lazy, not doing any karma, because I'm not doing anyway. I'm not getting the credit for what is being done, and I'm not even getting the results. Why I should work? No, don't become like this. So in this consciousness, when one works, this is Jnana Yoga. He's doing work, but in this consciousness, when he works, then he won't get any result. But when one is on the platform of, when you, so this is like rising, transcending from the body. Nishkama Karma Yoga is like the bridge, right? You're transcending from the material platform, coming to the spiritual platform. So you're still doing karma, but trying to transcend it by giving up the results, giving up the doership, and at the same time working diligently. Not that you become lazy, you give your 100%. So kamsa is claiming that, I'm not responsible for all this because I'm speaking, I understand the philosophy. Even we understand Nishkama Karma Yoga, what it is, we understand. But actually, you will transcend when you realize it, and you will realize it by doing it, by living by applying that philosophy in our life. That's when we will realize it. Otherwise, theoretically knowing is just the first step. After knowing, then it has to be applied. And after application, it has to be realized. And when it is realized, that's when you will see the result, right? You will transcend. So anyway, here Kamsa is saying, I'm not responsible, but Vasudev, sadhu. He's saying, yes, whatever you said is true. The philosophy is right. And so what did um, Vasudev say finally? He said that in today's verse. What did Vasudev say in today's verse? Let's see. Vasudev said that that someone who's affected by these things, he will not be, he who is affected by harsha, shoka, etc., he will not be able to see the ultimate cause, right? So I was telling you what is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary there. He will not see the ultimate cause means even when, like, so the other way around, somebody who is not affected by external vision. That means when someone is affected by external vision, he will see that this is the cause for this. This tiger is the cause for the death of this deer, right? Or this circumstance is the cause for the death. But somebody who does not have this material vision, what will he see? He will see that the ultimate cause, what I'm seeing now is this, but actually, if you go back, oh, the cause for this is this, and the cause for that is that, and that. Ultimately, he sees the hand of the Supreme Lord. Ishwara Paramah Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So that vision, who will have? One who does not have this external vision of discrimination. Ultimately, one who is not covered by avidya. He will see the hand of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Otherwise, one who is covered by avidya, he will see that the immediate cause is the cause, or the immediate cause being responsible for my current situation, and he is very busy counteracting that. Like all his energy is spent on counteracting the immediate cause for his present situation. So then what happened after this? Vasudev, so Kamsa became very pleased by what Vasudev and Devaki said. So they were not holding anything against him. Seeing this, Kamsa became very pleased, and he took permission and he left. So in that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Vishuddham means pure. So the speech of Vasudeva and Devaki was filled with purity. There was no anger, there was no, it was filled with, very pure, right? They said, yes, what you said is true, right? This philosophy, whatever you said, it's true. So that means your killing my children is actually controlled under the ultimate cause is the Supreme Lord. So we are just instruments, we just accept it like that. And it was not just said, with lips externally, but in the heart they are holding. No, that's why purity. They meant what they said. Yes, this is what is meant to happen. This is the plan of the Lord. We'll accept it like that. Vishuddham, with purity. Vasudevan spoke, Devaki spoke very sincerely to Kamsa with pleasing words. Hmm? Another reading of the word is Vishraddham. In that case, it means that they spoke in such a way to gain Kamsa's trust. So this word Vishuddham, in some places, it may be read as Vishraddham. Instead of Vishuddham, Vishraddham. Vishraddham means to gain Kamsa's confidence. Why? Why they have to gain Kamsa's confidence now? He doesn't what? Why do they have to gain Kamsa's confidence now? Why will he kill babies? He saw that the eighth child is Durga Devi, and Durga Devi vanished. So now why he will?
Because Mataji, now they know that Krishna is born, right? So Krishna is here to kill Kansa. So
they know. He doesn't know yet, but they know it, that Krishna is there. So he may not suspect, isn't it? They know very well that he's there, and he's there in Yashoda Mai's house, but Kamsa doesn't know. So Kamsa may not suspect that they have taken the baby away in the night and transferred. Just imagine if Kamsa came to know that Vasudeva and Devaki did this. The eighth child was born and they went and hid him somewhere, and now they're acting like, nothing has happened. When he comes to know of that, that's why. So to gain the trust of Kamsa, they said, right, yeah, whatever you said is true, and this is the plan of the Lord, like that. And he also became very pleased. Oh, they're pacified. Then he went back to his house, taking permission from them. So obviously he released them also. That was said before. And he went back. Text 29. Tasyam ratriam vyatitayam kamsa ahuya mantrinaha tebhya achashta tatsarvam yad uktam yoga nidraya tasyam ratriam vyatitayam. So that night, spending that night after Vyatit Karna, right? Ratriam, after spending that night. So when did all this happen? Krishna was born at midnight, and after that, soon after that, right? Krishna spoke a few words to Devaki and Vasudeva, and he said, take me. And then, being inspired by Krishna, Vasudeva took and immediately went to Gokul, exchanged the babies, came back. It was still in the night. Everyone was fast asleep. They were fast asleep there also. Here, when he came back, they were all fast asleep. Then he put the chains again back on his hands and legs. The doors closed. And then the baby, he brought the baby girl. She started crying. All this is happening in the night. And then the guards, they woke up, hearing the cries of the baby. They went to Kamsa to inform him he was sleeping. And then as soon as he got this news, he was like, now my time has come, right? Or either the time has come to kill the baby, or Kala, and my death in the form of Kala has come. So he just went there, and then Devaki was pleading. He just snatched the baby. The girl, she was saying, this is a baby girl. She'll become your daughter-in-law. Please let me have at least this last child. You killed all the other babies. Let me have at least this last one. Kamsa snatched, and he dashed the child against a stone, but instead of hitting against the stone, she went up, right? Like pushing on his head, it is said. Like this, she just went up and she assumed the 8-armed form of Durga Devi. Kamsa was astonished to see this. And Durga Devi, there's a beautiful description, 8-armed form, the weapon she was holding, and, beautiful dress and ornaments. And all these demigods were offering, glorifying her. Kamsa saw all this. And then Durga Devi said, Kamsa, you fool, why you are torturing? Stop torturing innocent Devaki, and also stop torturing innocent babies. The person, your enemy, who's supposed to kill you has already taken birth somewhere else. And then she disappeared. Then all this is still happening in the night. Then Kamsa, he was like, what just happened? Right? He completely believed the words of Durga Devi, and he became worried. What will happen to me? Devaki gave birth to Durga Devi, the divine. Now Kamsa is Asura. Asuras see, right? For them, Durga Devi is ultimate. So they see that she appeared from Devaki, means Devaki she must not be an ordinary person, and I caused so much suffering to her. What will happen to me? He was in fear. Immediately he went and released Vasudeva and Devaki, and then he begged for forgiveness. So we saw all that dialogues in the past, right? And then after that, Vasudeva also said, yeah, whatever you said is true, that, all this is because of false ego, identifying the self as this body that somebody sees, this is mine and this is others, and then he becomes affected by anger and so on. And when he's affected, then he's not able to see the ultimate cause. But you are able to see, we are also able to see. That's what it implies, right? That this is because one who has material vision, he's not able to see the cause behind everything. But we understand that it is the Supreme Lord's hand, right? Like that. So then, seeing that Devaki and Vasudeva were pleased, Kamsa went back. So obviously he went back, and maybe he must have tried to sleep, I don't know. So it was still in the night. So he spent that night, the night when Krishna was born, that night he spent. So this verse is saying that Tasyam Ratriam Vyatitayam, after spending that night, who Kamsa, Tasyam, Kamsa Ahuya Mantrinaha, or Tasyam Ratriam means that night, not Kamsa. That night, after spending that night, Kamsa Ahuya Mantrinaha. Ahuya means, like Ahvan, inviting, calling. Mantrinaha, called his ministers. Kamsa Ahuya Mantrinaha, called for a meeting. Tebhya achashta tat sarvam. Tebhya achashta. Achashta means he informed them. He informed all of them everything that happened the night before. Tebhya achashta tat sarvam yaduktam yoga nidraya. Right? And also what was said by yoga nidra, or Durga Devi, Yogamaya. Right? So what did she say? That the person who's supposed to kill her has already taken birth. So whatever she said, that also he related to all his ministers the next day in the morning. After that night passed, Kamsa summoned his ministers and informed them of all that had been spoken by Yogamaya, who had revealed that he who was to slay Kamsa had already been born somewhere else. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. You want to read, Mataji? Priyanka Haripriya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I can do. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, humble obeisances.
His excellent humble obeisances.
The Vedic scripture Chandi describes Maya, the energy of the Supreme Lord, as Nidra. Durga Devi, Sarva Bhuteshu, Nidra Rupena Samastitaha. The energy of Yog Maya and Mahamaya keeps the living entities sleeping in this material world in the great darkness of ignorance. Yog Maya, the goddess Durga, kept Kansa in darkness about Krishna's birth and misled him to believe that his enemy Krishna had been born elsewhere. Krishna was born the son of Devaki, but according to the Lord's original plan, as prophesied to Brahma, he went to Vrindavan to give pleasure to Mother Yashoda and Nan Maharaj and other intimate friends and devotees for 11 years. Then he would return to kill Kansa. Because Kamsa did not know this, he believed Yog Maya's statement that Krishna was born elsewhere, not of Devaki.
So we saw what happened. After that night passed, he called the ministers and told them what happened. So in the purport we are reading, the Vedic scripture Chandi describes Maya. So there's a Vedic scripture called Chandi which describes Maya, the energy of the Supreme Lord, as Nidra. Because here we see Yoga Nidraya, right? Yoga Nidraya. So Nidra means Maya. So Yoga Nidraya means Yoga Maya. Okay. What is the reference? Why we should take Nidra means Maya? Because in the Vedic scripture Chandi, we find this, that Nidra, Maya is known as Nidra. Durga Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samastitaha. See, the energy of Yogamaya and Mahamaya keeps the living entity sleeping in this. So, what is Mahamaya? Mahamaya is the expansion of Yogamaya. That is why the energy of Yogamaya, Mahamaya. Right? So, the energy of Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Oh, okay. The energy of Yogamaya and Mahamaya, both of them. Okay. So, the energy of Yogamaya and Mahamaya keeps the living entity sleeping in this material world in the great darkness of ignorance. Actually, we find this in the beginning of the 10th canto, the first chapter, when Krishna is ordering. So this is what is relayed to the demigods by Lord Brahma. When Bhumi Devi approached Lord Brahma, then Lord Brahma took Bhumi Devi and all the demigods to the ocean, milk ocean, to the shore of the milk ocean. And there they all recited the Purusha Sukta prayers. And Brahmaji in his meditation was able to hear from Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Kshirodakashayi Vishnu repeated to Brahmaji what he heard from the Supreme Lord. So he was informing him that Bhagavan is going to come. And whatever Brahmaji heard from Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, he was repeating to the demigods. So there, the Lord ordered. So Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is saying that Bhagavan is going to come himself along with his expansion, Balaramji, and also his Shakti, Yogamaya. So Yogamaya, there it is said, Shakti, but that means he's telling that Yogamaya along with her expansion should go. Who is her expansion? Her expansion is Mahamaya. There we read what is the function of Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Yogamaya, both are coming to this material world. It's not that Yogamaya is only acting in the spiritual world. Yogamaya is also acting in the material world, and Mahamaya is also acting in the material world. But Yogamaya's jurisdiction is on the devotees of the Lord. Mahamaya's jurisdiction is on those people who are not devotees of the Lord. So, Yogamaya, what are the functions of Mahamaya? Her functions are, or components of Mahamaya. You have avidya. So, all the conditioned souls are in avidya. Vidya, avidya, vidya, then prakriti and karma. These are the components of Mahamaya. And what are the components of Yogamaya? Yogamaya also has avidya and vidya. But they act differently because they are acting on different classes. Yogamaya acts on the devotees only. Mahamaya acts on the non-devotees. So we can even look at what are the functions of avidya, of Mahamaya. What does Mahamaya do with avidya? That's the covering, right? Avidya, just like we were reading just now. That because of ignorance, because of avidya, then, because you have that avidya, therefore you get material bodies. Even when you are in the body of Karanodakashayi Vishnu, you are lying there, you are covered by this avidya. Then you may wonder why I am covered by avidya. What is the reason? What is my qualification to be covered by avidya or disqualification? The reason is because of turning away from the absolute truth. Because of turning away from the absolute truth, just like when you're turned away from the sun, then all you see is darkness. Like that, when you turn away from the absolute truth, then you're in avidya. Avidya is compared to darkness. Then how to come out of this darkness? You have to turn back to the absolute truth. Once you turn to the sun, is there any darkness? There's no darkness. Like that. So, avidya is a component of Mahamaya, and avidya is there on those spirit souls, jivatmas, who are turned away from the absolute truth. Okay. Now, when this avidya is there, they will receive bodies whenever there is creation. When Karanodakshaya Vishnu glances on Prakriti, all these jivatmas covered by avidya, they are impregnated into Prakriti. Now, what is Prakriti? Prakriti is also a component of Mahamaya only. What is Prakriti? Prakriti means, that is, yeah, it's a part, it's a component, it's a part of Mahamaya. And she's also known in 3 different ways, Prakriti. One is Avyakta, then there is Pradhana and Prakriti. Avyakta, Pradhana and Prakriti. Avyakta means when there is no creation, after annihilation, she is in an equilibrium state. She is in a, unmanifest form. That's called Avyakta. Vyakta means visible. Avyakta means not visible. Avyakta means that which is not visible, right? So she is in an unmanifest form. That means she has the 3 modes. Mama Maya, Gunamayi, right? The gunas are there in Prakriti. Goodness, passion and ignorance, but they are in an equilibrium form. When they're all in equilibrium, there is no reaction. When one is more and one is less, there is agitation. Then why? Because there's constant competition. If there's 3 people and each one is competing to get the upper hand, can there ever be peace there? Everyone is trying to get over the other one. But if all 3 are exactly in the same, right? What do you say? Position, then there is equilibrium. So, after annihilation, the modes are in equilibrium in Prakriti. So, there at that stage, the Prakriti is known as Avyakta. When the Lord glances, and besides, she is Jada. Jada means what? Not conscious. When the Lord invests his Shakti called Kala Shakti, that is his power, time, then Prakriti becomes agitated. The modes are also, they lose, they come out of their equilibrium, they're agitated. Because of that, now first is the mode of goodness, right? So the false ego. So first of all, this Prakriti, when there is agitation, when is there agitation? By the glance of the Lord. By this glance, now she is impregnated with Kala Shakti is coming, but along with that, all these living entities covered by Avidya are also coming. And when she receives all these, she becomes like a pregnant lady, right? Now, Prakriti, Avyakta has become Pradhana. Pradhana means that Avyakta now with all the living entities is not Avyakta anymore. She's just about to give birth to this whole creation. And then this Pradhana, the first thing, the baby born is what? Mahatattva. You see the connection between Prakriti, Pradhana and Mahatattva? So Mahat is born. So this Mahat is in goodness, primarily. Then from Mahat, Ahankara is born. Ahankara is primarily in ignorance. But again, within that ignorance, there is more goodness and more passion and more ignorance, right? So therefore, it is primarily in Tamasa Sattva, Tamasa Rajasa, and Tamasa Tamasa. Ahankara is Tamasa. But within that, again, there is more of Sattva, more of Rajas, and more of Tamas. So Tamasa Sattva, Ahankara, produces the 5 gross elements and the 5 sense objects, like that. So in this way, all the other elements, the senses are produced. The Tamasa Rajasa produces the 5 working senses, 5 knowledge senses and intelligence. Tamasa Satvika Ahankara produces the mind and the controlling deities, like this. So This is, so all these elements, right from the beginning, from Avyakta, then Pradhana, and taking Mahatattva, Ahankara, mind, intelligence, senses, controlling deities, gross elements, sense objects, all these things have one thing as a principle. What is that? Prakriti. So you understand the three terms, Avyakta, Pradhana, and Prakriti. Prakriti is there as a principle in at every stage. That's why we call Prakriti. So this Prakriti is also a component of Mahamaya. So Mahamaya has Avidya, and then Mahamaya has Vidya. We didn't discuss Vidya, I'll tell you. And then Mahamaya has Prakriti, we discussed. Okay. So what is Vidya? Avidya is primarily in the mode of ignorance. But this avidya is there even before creation takes place. Even before the Lord glances also, that avidya is there. So that's a different one. Okay, that avidya is there. It's not like, oh, now the modes are in equilibrium, but this is constantly there with the jivatma, conditioned jivatma. It is there. This avidya is there, and that avidya is the root cause of conditioned life. When that avidya is removed, then you're liberated. So that avidya is counted as, it is one component of Mahamaya. Then Vidya is another component. So what is Vidya now? Avidya is primarily made of the mode of ignorance. Vidya is made of primarily goodness. Avidya means both. It has tamasa and rajasa, right? Passion and ignorance. Whereas Vidya has goodness. What is the significance of Vidya, or what is the significance of goodness? We will read in the 14th chapter, I think. Sattvat, or is it 17th chapter? Maybe 14th chapter. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Sattva guna produces, from Sattva guna is born knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge that, what is knowledge? Thinking that I am this body, is this knowledge? That is ignorance. You're not seeing reality, isn't it? You are falsely claiming that you are this body. In fact, you are not this body. So this is ignorance. Then opposite of ignorance is knowledge. What is knowledge? Seeing that I'm not this body, I'm different from this body. Seeing that I'm actually a spirit soul that is Satchidananda, that is always pure. And experiencing the Chit Sukha, the pleasure that comes from the soul. That is Vidya. So you are able to know that you are this body when you are not covered by avidya. Rather, so your avidya is now replaced by Vidya. This Vidya is also a component of Mahamaya. So, because it is also goodness. Goodness is still in the material world. Material goodness can give you that realization that I'm not, self-realization. I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. Which can also be one kind of liberation. Not can, it is. Coming out of the bodily concept and realizing that I'm a spirit soul is also liberation. But the problem is, if you don't do exclusive bhakti, simply being covered by Vidya, you will not be able to maintain this position eternally. You need to take shelter of bhakti to make this position eternal. And what to speak of if you want to realize not just that I'm a spirit soul, but I'm Brahman. To be able to see that supreme absolute truth. Because Atma is very, very small, tiny, in right? Keshagra Shatabhagasya. It's like one very, very, very minute. You cannot cut it any further. It's that small. So when it is that small, you cannot see any distinction also. That is the size of Atma. So naturally, its happiness is also very small, isn't it? Its capacity is also very small. What is the capacity of an elephant and what is the capacity of an ant? How much can an ant carry and how much can an elephant carry? Size matters or not? So Atma is very, 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 very minute. Yes, it is also Satchidananda, no doubt. But it is very minute and its capacity is also limited. Now this Atma, when it realizes Brahman, who is unlimitedly big, just the opposite. Atma is infinitesimal and the absolute truth is infinite. Two ends of the spectrum. So to realize that, this Atma needs bhakti. If this Atma does not take shelter of bhakti, this Atma will not realize Brahman, and what to speak of going and merging into Brahman. That is why we see Mam Chayo Avyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatityaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Permanently. Because even after realizing that you're a soul, there is the risk of falling down again. Yes, it is there. That's what it means. Right? Even after realizing Brahman, you can fall down. But somebody who has realized Brahman, and now he is actually realized Brahman, means to realize that Brahman also he has to be doing bhakti. Along with jnana, he will be doing some bhakti. And then jnana cuts jnana, vidya cuts vidya. The way from wood, fire comes, right? You rub two aranis and fire is generated. So fire is coming from wood. So fire is like knowledge, right? Or fire is jnana, or it is vidya. Produced from jnana. They are doing jnana sadhanas. By that, knowledge, vidya is increasing. And that vidya is burning up the knowledge also. That means whatever jnana sadhanas they were doing to realize Brahman, that knowledge is also burnt up. Those sadhanas are finished, that knowledge burns up the sadhanas. That means they give up even jnana, the practice of jnana at one stage. But that knowledge cannot burn up vidya, bhakti. Bhakti is a different vastu altogether. Bhakti cannot be burnt up by jnana. So at the last stage of the jnanis, they are remaining only with bhakti. That bhakti is avyabhicharini. Why avyabhicharini? It is not mixed with any jnana. It is not mixed with any karma. Karma was left long before, after Nishkama. Rice. What's it? Yeah. The rice cooker. So that karma, it left. Jnana also it left. Now there's no mixture of karma or jnana. They're doing like, that's why Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur calls it Ananya Bhakti. But then that Ananya Bhakti is not Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma. No, not that. The only qualification there is Jnana Karmadi is not there. Only exclusively Bhakti they're doing. And even that Bhakti is like very swalpa. Very little bit they're doing. That's why little bit of Bhakti reveals the absolute truth only as Brahman, not as Bhagavan. Completely it's not revealing, because the quantity of bhakti is very small there, like the light of a glowworm. It's not like the light of the sun that lights up the whole universe. So they're not able to see the absolute truth completely. They're only able to see the absolute truth, his effulgence. And that's how they get their result. So that means they need this bhakti. The point is about Vidya. We were discussing Mahamaya's components, Avidya, Vidya, Prakriti. So I told you what is Vidya. Vidya comes when Avidya is removed. So this is in the Jnana Marga. It's explained like this. Bhagavad Gita explains this also, right? So Avidya, Vidya, Prakriti, and then Karma. Karma is the activities, the reactions, right? So all these are components of Mahamaya. So Mahamaya is acting on whom? Conditioned souls, right? So when you are karmi, you are covered by avidya. And when you enter into jnana, that avidya is replaced by vidya, which is still component of Mahamaya. You're still in this material world, even though you are covered by vidya. Only you're in the mode of goodness. You're seeing the self as a soul, no doubt. And then Prakriti. Prakriti is all the ingredients, the elements which make up this world, right? So from gross elements and sense objects, everything that you see is formed. all the different forms that we see, trees, mountains, bodies of various types, whether demigods' bodies, Lord Brahma's body, or, ants' body, everything, refrigerator, your carpet, everything, airplanes, cars, everything is made of these five. Drink some water. They're made of the five gross elements and five sense objects. Okay. And then in the bodies, again, you have mind, intelligence, ego. So all this is coming from where? This is all Prakriti. This is Prakriti. Mahamaya's component. And then the material activities that one does, karma. That is also because who is doing the activity? We discussed that before. Who is doing the activity? Right? Let's say I'm seeing my glasses. I'm seeing my glasses. So glass is the sense object. Sense object is Prakriti. My eyes are seeing. Eyes are also sense Prakriti. Why? Senses, right? Coming from Prakriti only. So the sense object seen by the Karya Karana Kartritve. Karya is the sense object. Karana is the sense. Karta is who? Actually, when the eyes are seeing, who is moving? Who is controlling the eye? There is the Devata controlling. For the eye, the Devata is an expansion of Surya. So he is moving. He is giving, he is moving the eye. That's when the eyes are seeing the object. So who is doing this karma now? Prakriti is doing. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. This vimudha, foolish atma, is not doing anything, but kartaham, I am the doer. Iti manyate. He is thinking. Actually, who is doing? Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Prakriti is doing all the karmas. How? Through her gunas. But this foolish Atma is thinking, I am doing. So karma is coming from where then? Karma is the component of Mahamaya. So you see, avidya, vidya, prakriti, and karma are the components of Mahamaya. We are talking about Mahamaya and Yogamaya. That's why I was explaining all this. Now, what are the functions of Yogamaya then? Yogamaya is also coming. The Lord told both Yogamaya and Mahamaya, both of you should go to the earthly planet when I'm going to come, and you should assist me in my pastimes. So, Mahamaya, this is her function. She holds them like Kamsa and all these people, Duryodhan. They are also participating in the Lord's pastimes or not? Certainly. But who is facilitating their activities? Mahamaya is facilitating. So by that she's assisting in the Lord's pastimes or not? Of course she's assisting. So that is Mahamaya's role in assisting the Lord's pastimes when the Lord appears. Then how is Yogamaya assisting? Madhava. Yogamaya, what Yogamaya is doing? She also has Vidya and Avidya. She has Vidya and Avidya. Okay. And of course, there are many in Yogamaya. She has Leela Shakti, like this, many. But let's discuss Vidya and Avidya. What is the Vidya of, what is the function of Vidya? We said Vidya means it reveals, isn't it? Reveals. For example, Mahamaya's Vidya is revealing to the spirit soul that I am a spirit soul, I'm not this body. Now this Yogamaya reveals to the devotee, pure devotees. Yogamaya reveals like the associates of the Lord, like Yashodamai, and actually even the family members of the gopis, like her husbands, gopis' husbands, her in-laws, they may not be directly, apparently they are stopping the gopis from going to meet with Krishna and, like that. But they are also participating. They are participating in the Lord's pastimes. They are not controlled by Mahamaya. They are not controlled by Mahamaya. So that means they fall asleep and then they go away, right? That's all controlled by Yogamaya only. So there the function of Vidya and Avidya is, Avidya is making them sleep or not know. And the other thing is, yeah, it's making them sleep. Because of Avidya, they don't see. That means they are there with Krishna, but they are not able to see Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the best example. The family members, the gopis' husbands and their in-laws, they are also seeing Krishna, but they are not able to recognize him as Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And then what about Vidya? Vidya means revealing to, for example, Bhishma Dev was seeing or not. Krishna is the Devaki and Vasudev. They are also recognizing this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is because of Vidya. Yogamaya's, because of Yogamaya's Vidya, now they are able to see. Now the way Yogamaya functions is, she's not revealing completely. She reveals little bit and she hides a little bit. Only certain portion, what is required for that pastime, that much she reveals, and some portion she covers, like that. But avidya of Yogamaya does what? Completely covers. Completely covers. So you're not able to understand Krishna's position. That is the function of avidya. This is for the sake of pastime. So other acharyas, I think Srila Jiva Goswami, they explained that there's only two. Yogamaya and Mahamaya, two types. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, our Rasika Acharya, explains there are three types of Maya. Mahamaya, Yogamaya, and third Maya is Prema, Madhurya Prema, the sweet love of the Vrajvasis. Like Yashoda Mai's love. Why Yashoda Mai, even after she sees that, in Krishna's mouth, she sees the whole universe. And again, she thinks maybe I'm just dreaming, or, she says, don't eat mud again. Not that, oh, this is the supreme. Even if that comes for a moment, it doesn't stay in her. Why? Because of her intense love. Just like I said, that her bhakti is like the sun. In front of that sun, nothing can stay. So this Aishwarya doesn't have any stand in front of that extreme love of Yashodamai. So therefore that Aishwarya is not able to stand. That means Krishna's identity as the Supreme Lord, the All-Controller, right? Sarveshwara. This is the third type of Maya. What is that Maya? The extreme love. Although some acharyas just count that as Yogamaya, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes it as a third type of Maya. So this is Yogamaya and Mahamaya. So what I'm trying to say here is both have their role. When the Lord comes to this earth, Mahamaya is also assisting him, Yogamaya is assisting him. Yogamaya is assisting him. Her jurisdiction is Lord Krishna and his devotees. Mahamaya's jurisdiction is those who are not devotees of the Lord. But both are required in the pastime. When there is a movie or when there is a play, there is hero and there's also villain. So both are required for the pastime to, or for that play to create that rasa, right, in the audience and even in the players themselves. They get pleasure that various rasas are tasted. So both are required. So that is why both are playing here, Yogamaya, and of course, sometimes we see that the lords both are there. Like you see, when Jai Vijay came, they were actually the Lord's eternal associates. They were devotees. Nevertheless, they came here as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupal, Dantavakra. So there also they look like enemies and they're fighting with the Lord. But that was abhasa. Abhasa means they were acting, but even they didn't know that they were acting. It's just like when somebody plays a particular character, let's say in a movie, they have to really get into that role, right? For some time, they have to forget who they are in the real world, right? They have to let's say I am playing the role of let's say a queen. If I play the role of a queen, then I must actually get into that mood. That's when I'll be able to perform very well. And that's when the audience will also be able to feel, isn't it? So like that, those who are devotees, for example, Jai Vijay, when they come, they really get into that role so much that they also, Of course, they're acting, but they also don't know that they're acting. They come in their eternal form, because eternal form cannot be, it's not like us. The spirit soul is covered by different material bodies. Because why? We have avidya, right? Because of that avidya, there is, karma. And that karma is dictating what body we should get one after another. So Jai Vijay is not like that. That spirit soul is covered by this. No. Jai Vijay have eternal spiritual bodies in the spiritual world. And that spiritual body, by this Laghima Siddhi. Anima Siddhi, right? You become smaller than the smallest. By that Siddhi, they became so small, like an atom. But still, see, Swarupa Shakti is different, and this Tatastha Shakti is different. Jivatma is Tatastha Shakti. This Tatastha Shakti gets a material body when we are in the conditioned state, made of Bahiranga Shakti. Our body is made of external energy. But when we perfect bhakti, what happens is we are given spiritual bodies made of Swarup Shakti. Of course, we remain Tatastha Shakti. It's not that now we have become Swarup Shakti. We get bodies of Swarup Shakti, but they are permanent bodies. Here, these bodies are temporary. There's changing one body to another. Why? Because this is not natural position for the living entity. It is unnatural. So you keep changing from one to another. It's a temporary position. But by doing bhakti, when you come to the stage of bhava in bhakti, Shuddha bhakti, then in that stage, you are awarded a spiritual body, an eternal body. It's not created at any time. It's eternally existing. We are just awarded that based on your particular mood of devotional service. You're awarded a body. Just like when you go to the showroom, there are many shirts, right? One shirt you pick. Shirts are already there. Like that, these bodies are there. So you're awarded that body. And that is your eternal body, permanent body. It's not like you have to keep changing bodies again. So now when someone from the spiritual world comes, it's not like they give up that spiritual body and that Jivatma is coming and taking on a material body. No. Now, Swarupa Shakti is the powerful Shakti, right? Full-fledged, fully grown body. It's not like this small, infinite Jivatma. That body is coming to this material world means what? By Anima Shakti, it becomes very, very, very small. Siddhi, Anima Siddhi, right? Yogis have Siddhis, just like an atom, but it's not the Shakti of a living entity. It's not an Atma. Yes, Mataji, you can live. It's not an Atma. Rather, it is Swarup Shakti, the big Swarup Shakti. That body, when it comes to this material world and accepts a material body on top, right? So that is not the same as us accepting a material body. It's completely different. So these demons like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, when they are playing the role as enemies of the Lord, so what I was saying is the devotees themselves also come and become enemies. So devotees are, of course, that who is doing that then? Are they coming under the control of Mahamaya? No. They are eternal associates of the Lord. How they can be controlled by Mahamaya? They get a Mayika body. The body, yes, they get a material body, Mayika body. But nevertheless, it is all arranged by the Leela Shakti of the Lord. Leela Shakti is a component of the Yoga Maya only. But what about Duryodhan? What about Kamsa? Are they also eternal associates? No, they are not. So they are controlled by Mahamaya. Duryodhan, and they are also taking part in the Lord's pastime. They are also envious of the Lord. So they are controlled by Mahamaya. Whereas Jai Vijay, who come as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, right? They will be controlled by Leela Shakti. Why? To give that relishment to the Lord in his pastime. And of course, certainly those who are devotees, like also Putana, right? Putana comes and there's a lot of discussion here about Mahamaya, Yogamaya. We ran out of time. Maybe another day we can discuss. But the point is the role of Mahamaya and Yogamaya. That's what I was trying to discuss today. We'll just read this purport and I will end here. So, Durga Devi, right? The Vedic scripture Chandi describes Maya, the energy of the Supreme Lord, as Nidra. Here, Sukadev Goswami is saying that Yoga Nidraya, Kamsa called all his ministers for a meeting and he told him what Yoga Nidra told him the night before. Who's Yoga Nidra? Yoga Maya. Because Nidra means it is Maya. How do we know this? It is given in this scripture called Chandi. So the energy of Yogamaya and Mahamaya keeps the living entity sleeping in this material world in the great darkness of ignorance. Yogamaya, the goddess Durga, kept Kamsa in darkness about Krishna's birth. So here it is said Yogamaya. Yogamaya means, because Durga Devi is who? Durga Devi is the expansion of Yogamaya. That also was cleared earlier, previously, because Yogamaya carried Balaramji to Rohini, right? And the Lord said, you will appear to Yashodamai and I will become the son of Devaki and you will become my sister. That means what? He will appear to Yashodamai also and Yogamaya will also take birth there from Yashodamai. So that Yogamaya will remain in Vraja and Mahamaya will be brought by Vasudev to Kamsa's prison. So here when it is said Yogamaya, you should understand Yogamaya means Yogamaya's expansion, Mahamaya. Okay. Yogamaya, the goddess Durga, kept Kamsa in darkness about Krishna's birth. So Durga Devi kept Kamsa in darkness. Obviously, Kamsa is controlled by Mahamaya only, right? Expansion of Yogamaya. So Kamsa is kept in darkness about Krishna's birth and misled him. Durga Devi misled him to believe that his enemy Krishna had been born elsewhere. Krishna was actually born to Devaki, right there. But she told him, or she said he's born somewhere else. Krishna was born the son of Devaki, but according to the Lord's original plan as prophesied to Brahma, he went to Vrindavan to give pleasure to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj and other intimate friends and devotees for 11 years. Then he would return to kill Kamsa. Because Kamsa did not know this, he believed Yogamaya's statement that Krishna was born elsewhere, not to Devaki. And because he believed this, that is why he released them, right? He believed Durga Devi's words. And then he thought, oh, how much I tortured, I don't know what will happen to me, like that. Okay, and quickly today's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on this. Nati Kovidaha means ignorant. Ati refers to qualification. The demons devoid of the qualification of knowledge heard Kamsa's words, became angry. Oh, we didn't read that, sorry. 29. Okay, 29 does not have any purport, so we can stop there today. We are done. Okay. Thank you all so much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।